live on your tablet, phone, and the KUTV app. This is 2 News Live.
Thanks for joining us on 2 News Live. I'm Brian Schnee. It is Wednesday, December 20th. Great to have you with us. Once again, we've got to go in depth on more Ruby Franke. We're not slowing down just yet because Jody Hildebrandt has a court appearance next week. Also, we're talking big league baseball making its potential move to Salt Lake City. We'll get into all of that in just a few minutes. Here's a look at what's making headlines. You can find all of this on our website right now, KUTV.com. We're learning more about a 40-year-old woman killed after she was hit by 2 cars last night. This happened here, this UDOT camera showing Highway 89 South Weber. Police say the woman was walking along the southbound lanes when she was hit by a van, then hit again by another vehicle. They're trying to figure out why she was on the road in the first place. 10 years ago today, a federal judge ruled Utah's ban on same-sex marriage was unconstitutional. Judge Robert Shelby came to this ruling because the ban violated the due process and equal protection clauses of the U.S. Constitution. Within weeks of this historical ruling, couples were legally married in the state of Utah. Also in your headlines here, the TSA's holiday travel period kicks off tomorrow and agents are prepared for a busy day. The agency says they expect numbers to surpass last year's holiday season with flights near or at capacity between now and the New Year's holiday. Today, the Salt Lake City Mission held their annual Christmas food box giveaway. Volunteers were out in full force. They were packing enough boxes to serve more than 500 people. Each of the boxes contained all the fixings needed to prepare a Christmas meal at home, and we're glad they did this. As we go in depth tonight, you can always get in touch with us during the show. Use the hashtag 2NewsLive. Join our conversation. You can find us on the socials, Facebook, X, Instagram. Send a DM to weigh in.
Ms. Frankie, how do you plead to count 1, aggravated child abuse, a second-degree felony?
Guilty.
To count 3, aggravated child abuse, a second-degree felony?
Guilty.
To count 5, aggravated child abuse, a second-degree felony?
Guilty.
And to count 6, aggravated child abuse, a second-degree felony?
With my deepest regret and sorrow for my family and my children, guilty.
Pleading guilty to 4 charges of aggravated child abuse earlier this week, Ruby Franke will remain in jail while waiting to learn the terms of her sentencing. News of Ruby Franke and Jody Hildebrandt has circulated worldwide, and even here in Utah, political leaders are taking notice. Earlier today, Jake Taylor asked about Ruby Franke to Utah Governor Spencer Cox.
Ruby Franke, she pled guilty on Monday to aggravated child abuse. That case, your reaction to it, and does it tie into any of the issues the state is working on or should be working on?
Well, thanks for the question. Obviously, deeply disturbing, and the fact that there has now been a guilty plea there, we can talk in terms of this happened. It's not just an allegation, and so we decry child abuse at any level. There is an initiative that is moving forward this legislative session around abuse and how we can do more in the state, more education on the abuse side of things to help prevent abuse. And so you'll see support. I put money in my budget for that, and I think that will likely move forward this session. There's also a question around some licensure and some things that I think may be looked at. And again, I'm very supportive of all of those. If we can find any way to prevent this from happening in the future, I would be supportive.
Earlier today, Jake Taylor there. Now Jake Taylor is here with us on 2 News Live. I was really impressed with the governor's thoughts and answer to your question, which proved to me he knew a lot about this and knew a lot about what was being pushed at the state level because of this case. Your thoughts on his response?
Yeah, clearly he's done his homework, done his research. You see what he was saying there about, of course, the child abuse laws that may be coming forward, and specifically what he had to say about certifications and other types of oversight that may be needed for those who would call themselves life coaches. Of course, we know that is the employment, the industry that Frankie and Hildebrandt had been more recently working in, telling others how they should work with their relationships or how they should parent their children. Obviously, there are concerns now from many people about, well, somebody who would do that likely shouldn't be giving advice to others, but there aren't any certifications right now or any requirements for life coaches.
It was interesting because I listened to the governor's monthly press conference. I skimmed through most of it because it's over an hour long, but he will tell you when he doesn't support something, which I thought was really interesting. He said, I don't support the lottery, right? So that was a very forward, I do not support this. Yeah, I get the sense he will support a bill if it's drafted correctly regarding more abuse repercussions or legislations about licensures for life coaches. So it seems like he's on board with these things. You get that impression?
Yeah, with, I think not just impression, but he pretty much outright said it. In the few words that he had, a relatively short time, he mentioned more than once, twice, 2 or 3 times, that one, with the abuse, he would support some major movements going forward. And when it comes to the licensure, to the certification, he said, yes, he would be on board with changes there. So it seems like it's got his support.
Jake Taylor here live on 2 News Live after being all over the place today, talking about a number of different things. But of course, we enjoy having you on for the perspective about Ruby Franke. You've done a number of pieces on it, so thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Brian.
Utah is determined to land a major league expansion baseball team. Let's go in depth on this. We've done it before. The group behind this wants to build a ballpark on North Temple near Fair Park. We were out there when we knew where they were going to make this happen. But Brian Millay, he's been digging into this today. Brian's out there. He's our starting pitcher tonight. Will he go 7 strong? We hope so. But not everyone is happy about the proposed location, Brian.
I want the W, that is for sure. Back there is the old Smith's Ballpark. It's really not that old. And it's a place where they do not want to put the new stadium. So the Larry H. Miller Company said today it already has some parcels out on North Temple in what they're calling the Power Station, the Power District, under contract. Those parcels we don't believe are owned by Rocky Mountain Power currently, though Rocky Mountain Power land would be needed for this project. So I asked about the ballpark, the current ballpark, which is going to be closing. It'll be lights out here at the end of next season. And the response was, well, it's not going to work. We looked at it. It's just not, it's not going to fly for Major League Baseball. So no. It's hard to imagine after this announcement today, after a news release that went out this morning, that they're going to go anywhere else but that North Temple location. The Millers are going to be, the majority owners of this ball club. They sold the Jazz. Now they want to own baseball. Brian?
Brian, I think that the interesting part to a lot of this is Salt Lake's in the running with a number of other cities that have had this push for much longer. Obviously, the confidence is here from a lot of our local folks, a lot of deep pockets involved in this move. How confident are they at this point that this is a reality for Salt Lake City?
I don't think they would be getting parcels under contract if they didn't think that this was going to happen. There could be contingency clauses in those contracts that would say, if this doesn't occur, then the deal doesn't go forward. But and maybe there aren't other, potential buyers out there who are banging down the door to try to get at this land. But I think that's a good indication that this is going to happen. Another indication, and this is, someone who is well informed mentioned this today. Think about this. So when the Millers announced that the Bees would be moving from Salt Lake City out to Daybreak, they did that while they were talking to Major League Baseball about bringing in a club here. So would this team have moved to Daybreak to make way for a stadium in Salt Lake City for Major League Baseball if that deal with the MLB was not already down the road? I mean, this is speculative, of course, but I think it's a fair question. One person I spoke with today said he thinks, no, this was wired. That, yes, these discussions were ongoing, and we got to get the AAA team out of Salt Lake so we can bring the Major League Baseball team to Salt Lake. That's essentially what he thought.
Honestly, Brian, a lot of it makes sense, and I think the parcel purchasing and getting under contract is perhaps the most unique piece because when this was all put out, it was my impression that Rocky Mountain Power had a lot of the land out there, but it's interesting that they have been going out and plucking out different parcels in that area. Great reporting, Bri. Thank you. Let's turn to meteorologist Chase Thomas in here. First alert forecast as we're looking at winter just hours away officially.
Officially, it starts tomorrow, but of course, meteorologically, it starts December 1st. And we've had a few storms, but nothing too significant so far, at least this month. But for tomorrow, it is the shortest day of the year when it comes to daylight.
Ugh.
The good news is that going forward, we get more daylight.
Okay.
It just takes a while, especially through December, January. Really start to see that February and March when we gain more seconds. Sunrise 7:48, sunset 5:03, only 9 hours and 15 minutes of daylight. But again,
I'll be
it gets
inside
better.
for part of that day.
It's dark right now at 5:40, so we've been used to it. All right, let's get to your forecast because there is a storm in the forecast that you might like, Brian. Not going to be a huge snowmaker, but at least it's something finally. It's been a while, right? We've had these weak disturbances bringing in a little bit of rain here or there. I mean, it has weakened the inversion. We have some cleaner air, but again, not a lot of snow, and we need some snow for our snowpack and, of course, for our ski resorts as we head into the holiday weekend. A weak storm right now over the Four Corners, producing some light showers right around Moab, a few light snow showers up in the mountains, so Arches, Canyonlands. This will likely linger through tonight, and then it's out of here by tomorrow morning. We've had a few sprinkles in Utah County, but that has definitely wrapped up and will likely stay dry if you have any evening plans. Overnight lows dropping to the 30s here along the Wasatch Front. Colder out in eastern and central Utah. Will fall into the 20s, but St. George 41. We made it up into the upper 60s today. I think we broke a record high in St. George at 68 degrees. Tomorrow, though, still in the 60s, but we'll be in the low 60s, mostly cloudy skies. Partly cloudy here in northern Utah again. Upper 40s and low 50s. It is very mild. It stays mild for the rest of the work week, and then that cooler air moves in for the holiday weekend. Best chance for some precipitation. It will likely start as rain, changing to snow Saturday. Temperatures around 40 degrees, but falling into Christmas Eve and Christmas Day. Might see a couple flurries early Sunday morning, but the holiday does look quiet. So maybe you're driving to family, either Christmas Eve or Christmas Day, you should be just fine. But maybe you want to hold off, though, on Saturday. So here's what's going on. We have a cold front and we have a storm system that's approaching Utah. This low moves into California tomorrow. We'll have the cloud cover, but no rain, and then pumps moisture into southern Utah on Friday, especially Friday afternoon and Friday night. Might get a few showers around St. George, but south central, southeastern Utah, probably the best chance to see that moisture. Now, the big question, though, is if this moisture is going to make it up into northern Utah and hit the cold front, and then we'd have a nice little winter storm. Still up in the air. It looks like a fast-moving cold front, but if it slows down, potentially more significant, and if everything kind of comes together. But a quick burst of snow potentially late Saturday morning, and then a couple lingering hit-or-miss snow showers likely Saturday afternoon and Saturday night before the whole thing winds down. But look at the snowstorm developing. This is where it all meets up, out in Colorado and Wyoming, and they'll see probably a lot more snow than us. Valleys, 0 to 2. I think Wasatch Front dusting to an inch or two. Ski resorts, maybe 5 to 10 inches. But again, it's still a little bit early to really nail down those totals, and it could change. St. George, a little rain Friday night into Saturday morning. We'll go from the 60s to the 50s, but your coolest days are actually Christmas Eve and Christmas Day. It'll be sunny, though. Highs right around 50 degrees, and next week looks quiet in southern and in northern Utah. Salt Lake near 50 degrees, a little bit of haze through Friday. We have moderate air quality, and then here comes that snow for Saturday. Temperatures drop into the 30s, so we have about 3 or 4 days where it's kind of chilly, but that's actually near normal for late December. Again, next week, a little quiet again, so it's not like we're going to see storm after storm. High pressure could arrive, so maybe more haze for the last days of December.
Come on.
I know.
I mean,
there's something, but it's not lined up yet.
I know.
It'll happen.
This guy will be all right, though.
He'll be okay.
It's okay. All right. Thanks for laying it all out there, as always. And if you'd like to get it on the phone version right there at the palm of your hand, you can easily do that by using the 2 News Weather app. Know about the changes in your neighborhood, get updated forecast, all that good stuff right at the palm of your hand, in between newscasts, not while you're driving. Just saying. Maybe pull over if you want to check it out. Keeping Chase here for this. This is fun. Fun, but you know, a little
sad.
It's bittersweet. This is at 6:30 tonight. This
is
meaning,
my guy.
Meaning a lot of this.
I know.
We're going to look back at Sterling's career here at KUTV2 News. He's come a long way from where he started 34 years ago. Take a listen.
I didn't really understand television, what was all went into it, because I didn't have a broadcast degree. I had a meteorology, so I was a meteorology guy. It took a while to get used to it. And it took me a while to figure out that I needed to tell the viewers what they needed to know as opposed to what I thought I needed to tell them. Because I thought, I know it. I thought I knew it all. I didn't know it all.
A salute to Sterling tonight on 2 News at 6:30. I'm not letting you leave without sharing some thoughts about Mr. Paulson's retirement, but also, do you have any great Sterling moments? This is the perfect platform to at least spend a minute.
Oh, I mean, I have so many great Sterling moments. I mean, I'm going to miss, I love Sterling. We go back and forth at it when it comes to forecasting. I have my opinion, he has his opinion. And we always meet somewhere right in the middle because we put the forecast together because we kind of split the afternoon and evening shows. And we have a lot of fun with it. We'll make little side bets. We're like, okay, I think we're going to get 4 inches of snow on this day. He'll say, 2 inches on this day. And I mean, we're betting dollar bills, but I
always knew there was gambling going on in the Weather Center.
Yep.
Maybe that'll be up there.
I don't know. No, they're friendly waivers.
Friendly little wagers there. I know. So do you have a specific moment that sticks out in time, a great memory,
I do.
Or anything like that?
Yeah, I mean, Sterling's like, that grandpa that everyone loves. And, I went through a few things a couple years ago with the passing of my grandma, and he was just kind of there for you when you need someone. So that's that guy that I will always get emotional about, but that's like the thing that comes to my mind the most.
And you're lucky to sit next to him every day and have those conversations.
We still text every day, so I'm sure I'll still be, asking him some pointers on the forecast. A big storm coming in, and he only lives a few minutes away, and I know exactly where his house is. So
of course you do.
I'll be going over. I'm sure.
And I'm sure he will not.
He'll be like, I'm retired.
Yeah, I'm retired. Leave me alone. I do know he plans to come back and hang out.
Yeah, he has an office here. When we have some time off, he might fill in, so you'll still see him on TV.
This is the perfect time.
Oh yeah, let's
This is the perfect time because
we haven't put it up yet, but we're going to.
They've been waiting to put this up, and
the Weather Center right there.
I want to know where it's going to be in our studio. Maybe we'll have to take a picture of our studio and see if we could get some.
How cool is this? So we're renaming our Weather Center the Sterling Paulson Weather Center. Fitting.
And he was given this during a retirement gathering,
right? Which
was about a week or two ago.
About a week ago, yeah.
And there's just a handful of Sterling casts left, right?
Yeah, he's going to be here tonight at 10, so you'll see him then.
Okay.
But he's taking a few days off, but he'll be here for next week. His last day will be next Friday. I believe that's the 29th of December.
45 minutes. The countdown is on. Join us tonight, 2 News at 6:30 for a salute to Sterling. I know that you'll be featured in there as well, I'm sure. Thanks for joining us on 2 News Live. Have a